I wanted to talk today about attention. Now, there's a Zen koan that has to deal with attention, and I just read a couple of different versions. I Googled it just before I started this talk because I knew about this koan, and there are a couple different versions of the koan. But in general, it goes like this: someone asked the Zen teacher, what is the key to Zen? Uh, and the teacher says, attention. And the other individual says, no, that can't be it. There's got to be more than that. So the Zen teacher says, attention, attention. And now the other person's getting really frustrated. So what do you mean? You just keep saying the same thing over and over again. So can you please expand? And the teacher says, attention, attention, attention. At this point, the other person's really frustrated, is about to give up and said, but what does that mean? The Zen master says, attention means attention. Have you ever paid attention to your attention? Have you ever turned your attention to attention? My observation here, and remember, this is hopefully going to be another short post in a series of short observations, is that attention is where open, spacious awareness, your true nature, meets your mind. Where this awareness, the awareness that you are, that is always there, your presence, your sense of being, your sense of aliveness meets the mind. I haven't heard that from anybody before, so I might be completely off base with this one. But if you really investigate it, you notice that, and notice is an aspect of attention. We move through our day and our attention moves and is directed towards certain activities. Right now, I'm giving my attention to the camera. It's too much going on in this household for this, but lots of noise. And it's interfering with my attention. Perfect. Now my dog wants to be let out of the room. Hold on a second. It's perfect. I just let the dog out. Take a look at your attention. Turn your attention, paying attention to attention. Turn your attention on attention. What is your attention? Attention is localized awareness. It's focused awareness. It takes this open, spacious awareness and it focuses it towards something. Usually it's focused towards something going on in the external world, quote unquote. Listen to my last talk about that. It's directed towards a perception. My dog was at the door. My attention was directed towards that. That's a mental activity. It's a mental activity in the sense that it requires cognition, awareness, attention, cognition, decision-making. It is the intersection of this awareness with this perception. And so I go let the dog out. When you go to work, you put your attention to your work. When you're reading, you put your attention to a book. When you're having a conversation, you're putting your attention to the person you're having a conversation with. But did you ever turn your attention to attention? Have you really ever taken a look at attention itself? What is attention? That's the question for you. What is attention? Meditation is a process by which you direct your attention to a single point of focus. Could be a mantra, could be your breath, could be a visual image, could be a mandala. And what's really interesting about it when you do that in meditation, is it's one way of focusing your mind. This is why I'm saying it's the intersection between awareness and the mind. You're giving your mind something to do. Otherwise, your mind is just kind of going to go off and do its own thing. And it's very easy for your awareness to get caught in the mind stream. And that's when you're not really fully present. Even though you are always present, you are presence itself. And even that activity of not being fully present because you're paying attention to the mind stream there's nothing wrong with that. However, you're giving credence to a mental construction, thoughts, for example, and it's okay to pay attention to thoughts when you need to pay attention to the thoughts. But when you're meditating, for example, the idea is to give your mind something to do, especially if your mind is unruly and you keep finding your awareness paying attention to the mind stream and not paying attention to itself. Now, there's another form of meditative practice where you don't really do anything, you just receive that which is arising, and that includes the mind stream, but you do it from a dispassionate perspective, as sort of an observer of what's taking place. There's awareness of the mind stream, there's awareness of sounds, there's awareness of light, there's awareness of pressure on the body, there's awareness of all these things. But sometimes the mind needs something to do. The mind is just doing its thing, it's going, and your attention keeps bringing awareness back to the mind, so you give the mind something to do. Focus on your breath. That's a very simple but powerful practice. Focus on the breath. Now, here's where it's interesting, because what's focusing on the breath? On the one hand, by giving the mind something to do, you've got the mind is active by paying attention to the breath, and then there's awareness that's aware of the breath as well. That's why it's an interesting convergence of that which is much greater than the mind, that which is nothing but contains the whole thing, versus localized awareness, which is where you direct your attention, that helps give the mind something to do. Is this making sense at all? The only way to really see this for yourself is to see this for yourself. Put your attention on attention. Really look at your attention. What is that attention? What's going on with your attention? What I find interesting is that when my mind is unruly and I do that and I give it something to do, like focusing on the breath, and the mind quiets down, it actually relaxes awareness. And so it's able to operate from a much more open, receptive state. Now, again, I'm using dualistic language here to describe something that is already open, and boundless, and infinite. But in practice, giving the mind something to do frees awareness to just receive. And in the meantime, you've got your, focused attention. Your attention might still be focusing on the breath. Maybe you're counting the breath. So it engages the mind. Your attention engages the mind. And in essence, frees up awareness to just receive everything else that's arising at the moment, which is just this, what's arising right now. So put your attention on attention. Really take a look. What is this attention? What is this? What is that point of what is that? That's a powerful teaching. Attention, paying attention to attention. You have to pay attention yourself. Even though there's no you, pay attention to really grok. Again, thank you, Robert Heinlein, to grok what's going on at a very subtle level. It's useful for daily life, but we never really give credence or pay attention to that which itself is attention. So there you have it. Pay attention to attention. Pay attention to attention. Do it on the cushion. Meditation. Do it when you wake up in the morning. Do it when you go to sleep at night. Turn your inner eye away from what's apparently going on out there, which, if you listen to my previous video, is not going out there. It's not going on anywhere. But turn it inward. And again, there's no inward either. There's no in there. Again, listen to the talk about the quote. I quoted Joan Tollefson in my last talk. Where does the inside of you turn into the outside of you? That was the teaching. I'm now saying, let's just focus on the inside of you for now. Let's move your attention away from the outside of you to the inside of you and focus on attention itself. What is that? What is that attention? Really look. Really look. Okay, that does it for now. Thank you, everyone.